This morning I was remembering as a teenager when I was born again. I was born again, I was a teenager. I was in my teens, about 16, 17 years old. And what prompted me to do that was to get saved, to get born again. Well, one, your mom told you to do it. But most importantly, it was how I was taught. I was taught fear, you know. So when I went to get baptized, it was all about not going to hell. Oh my God, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. Because you hear the stories about, you told when you're growing up. And if you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. You're sinful. You're hell-bound, So, yeah, I want to get born again. I didn't want to go to hell. That was my main objective, not go to hell, not to go to hell. But missing the true reason we get born again, you know. I was not thinking about the Holy Spirit. I was not thinking about a relationship with Christ or what God did. All I wanted was I didn't want to go to hell. And looking back on that time, and I was young, easily frightened and put off and led to the wrong direction. But looking back on that now, I can see where my focus was. As I said before, I didn't want to go to hell, so it was fear-based. I got baptized. I was born again out of fear, not out of wanting a relationship with Christ and understanding Him more, and being awareness of the Holy Spirit working in you. My focus was only not going to hell, and that was the wrong way of thinking about it when you come to being born again. You don't want to think about, well, I just don't want to go to hell, But now, looking back at it now, the contrast between then and now is I have more of an awareness of Him. I have more of wanting to know Him, and aware of the Holy Spirit working in me, and when He's changing me, when I'm noticing I'm doing things I didn't used to do, or not doing the things that I used to do because doing something, a new desire was developed in me because of the Holy Spirit. And even though back then when I did get saved, God still watched out for me. He made salvation available to all, and to be born again is an opportunity to participate. You no longer performing, trying to get something. You already have it. God gave it to you. He made you blessed. He made you righteous. He redeemed you. He's forgiven you. So instead of trying to earn that, we now participate in that. I remember back then when it was fear-based, it also made me sin conscious. And that's not good because that makes you want to sin more. You're focusing on what you did throughout the day. You're not focused on what God has done for you. You're more focused on what you did to stay out of sin and what you did do it, and you start condemning yourself. And you're talking about, well, I'm going to hell because I did this. I'm going to hell because I don't know, stole a candy from the drugstore. I don't know. It's just so fear-based. And when you fear-based, you're more sin conscious than ever. So when I was baptized, I'm more sin conscious than ever because where my focus was, it wasn't on a relationship with Christ. It was on not going to hell. But I see now why it was a problem when the law was introduced. It was the perfect law. It is the perfect law. We're just imperfect people. Boastful and proudful that, yeah, we can keep the law. We can do that, no problem. And God like, oh, really? This is what I live by. This is my law. This is my law. This is how I operate. You trying to tell me you can operate like God, And we fail miserably every time, Not only try to keep the law, but again, we're sin conscious of the law now. We sin conscious of what we do. And actually it makes you want to sin more. You know, you always want what you always desire what you're not supposed to have. You always desire what you can't have, we're not supposed to have. Makes you want it even more. You know. So, and that was true when I was born again, when I was 16, 17. I wanted to sin more because it was enticing. You know, it was taboo. You weren't supposed to do it. You weren't supposed to have it. So you want to do it even more. So realize that when you're born again, the majority of all the changes on the inside of you, the Holy Spirit operating in you, changing you, giving you new wants tos and new desires, and you want to form a relationship with Christ, or even a deeper relationship with Christ. You want to study him more, learn more about his ways. Nothing you know, before you know it, you're walking like him. You're handling situations the way he would, you know. And it's all based out of wanting a relationship with him. Not about what he can do for you or he can bail you out of this or that. No, you just want to know him. You person just want to know. You just want to know more about him. And there's no fear in it, you know. And also from that fear, it was from also you fall into performing, you know, and not even knowing you're in a some transactional thing with him, where if I do this, he's gonna get me out of this, you know. If I do this, he'll do that, you know. And that's not what it's about. So yeah, that's the difference between being born again when I was a teenager and finally realizing it now, what it meant, you know. So yeah, that was on my mind this morning. I was sitting out here, you know. What was different between me now and me back then, you know. So I hope this helps you. Another one of my experiences, you know, with the Lord. I pray that helps you on your way today and you apply it to your life. And again, this is why we build our spiritual art. That's what it's about, building our spiritual art, you know, getting in the right mind frame, you know, getting on the right path, getting in direct alignment with him, you know. Because a lot of times we're out of alignment, don't even know it. And we go years and years and years walking and believing one way. And it took us so far of alignment with God, it's almost hard to find your way back, you know. But all things possible with God, you know. So, right thinking, right believing, yeah. Right believing, right thinking, you know, stand in alignment, you know, look at what you're doing, what's in your heart when you're doing it, you know. Is it to glorify God, or is it some kind of selfish agenda you pushing on yourself, or, you know, or like me, like did not want to go to hell, you know. But yeah, that's it for today, you know. That's my thought process today. So on this sensational Saturday, enjoy this day and realize you're the best thing God has to offer this world today, you know. And focus on the why, you know. Focus on the why we do things today. Focus on why you do things today. What's in your heart when you're doing it, you know. Yeah. You have an awesome day. I love you. I'll talk to you later.